Muted mic. Wouldn't you look at that? What a noob. What a fucking noob. Oh. Oh, man. We're back again. Sorry I'm a little late. Had to let my dogs scare off some coyotes so they don't go after my goats. Can't be having that happen. It's not a good thing. Them little buttholes been lurking for a minute. Running around my property trying to fucking get at my goats and my chickens. Not if my dogs have anything to say about it, damn it. Not if they have anything to say. But here we are with some aviation prattle. More like a fucking barbecue weenie roast. We're about to fucking blow this shit up. This is crazy. Look at some ugly ass plane. Like, one's basically just a shopping cart with a hang glider attached to it and an engine and a propeller. And the other one is just a tube with a propeller in it and some wings on it. Which both, I will give credit where credit is due. Both of these planes were actually quite beneficial in the aviation industry, right? I'll give them credit for what they're worth. They were actually worth something. However, human beings can come up with some strange things. It's amazing to see how something so strange can actually work almost too well. In some cases. But when it comes to engineering things, there's all kinds of strange stuff that seems to work. When looking at it, you'd be like, really? And when I say work, I mean that in a sense of like, it can be used for something. It's not just useless, it has an actual practical application. Even if that practical application is relegated just to experimental use for data collection, right? There's a time and a place for everything. And I guess 1932 was the time and place for this motherfucker right here. Let's look at this nasty piece of shit. Hold on. Oh my goodness. This hot dog with wings is called the Stipa Caproni, also known as the Caproni Stipa. Was an experimental Italian aircraft designed in 1932 by Luigi Stipa and built by Caproni. It featured a hollow barrel-shaped fuselage with an engine and propeller completely enclosed by the fuselage. In essence, the whole fuselage was a single ducted fan. Although the Regia Aeronautica, the Italian Royal Air Force, was not interested in pursuing development of the Stipa Caproni. Its design influenced the development of jet propulsion. Yeah, very interesting. If to what I'm understand, the information I came across earlier about this thing is correct. Hey, welcome in, Stepfire, Chase Williams. How y'all doing? We're ripping on this thing, this ugly ass plane right here. Look at this nasty ass thing. It's just a cooling fan with wings. Just a giant ducted cooling fan with wings. But Evidently, it influenced the development of jet propulsion. So, that's fucking interesting. Bear raid, let's go. Thanks, Speak, for the raid. Craig, Shazzy, everybody welcome in. Jeremy, Alicia, Auntie, Cleaner. Everybody welcome in. How you doing? How you doing? Going over a little bit of aviation history here. See you later. Your son builds planes? Well, so do I. So do I, Shazzy. Looks like an industrial dryer. Yes, it does. Feel free to roast the shit out of this thing, because I'm going to roast the shit out of this thing the entire time. Like, what an ugly contraption. Oh, my... It looks like they turned a bucket on its side, strapped some wings on it, and threw some propellers on it, cut out the bottom, added a tail, and then dude just decided to sit on it. Awesome topic. Thank you. Parkour pilot ninja? Yes indeed. Hey, Speak, thanks for the raid. Appreciate you, my guy. You're awesome. Could it carry a payload? Well, I'll get into that. I'm actually going to get into quite a bit about this ugly ass thing. It's a fucking disgusting looking contraption. Another picture from a different angle. Still looks like a hot dog. Like a hollowed out hot dog. You've taken shits bigger than that. Dang. Oh shit. Hey, Cleaner with the subscribe. Let's go. He works for Boeing now. They bought over Sprint. Oh, really? Nice. Nice. It's not a bad job to have. I mean, Boeing probably pays them a lot. Where do I put in the quarter? Well, I don't have a link. I don't do panel shows. So, one goose and it's done. Yeah, basically. Basically. So here's the thing about this. Hold on. Because of the airframe and the way that it's designed, right? I know it looks like shit, but it was actually too stable. The original design was too fucking stable, and they had a hard time turning it. They couldn't get it to go anywhere. So, let me get into this real quick. Hard to tell which is the front, which is the back. Seriously, what's up with that fuselage? It's a hot dog. Yeah, he comes home with 2K, that's what I'm talking about. Steepa's basic idea, which he called an in-tubed propeller. Yep, just a ducted fan. Was to mount the engine and propeller inside a fuselage that itself formed a tapered duct or venturi tube. And compressed the propeller's airflow and the engine exhaust before it exited the duct at the trailing edge of the aircraft, essentially applying Bernoulli's principle of fluid movements to the aircraft's propeller more efficient. This is a similar principle as used in turbofan engines, but used a piston engine to drive the compressor propeller rather than a gas turbine. Stipa later became convinced that German rocket and jet technology, especially the V-1 flying bomb, was using his patented invention without giving proper credit, although his ducted fan design had little mechanically in common with the turbojet engines and nothing at all with pulse jet used on the V1. Wrecked. Get wrecked. Looks like a situation worthy of a local urologist. Seriously. Do you get a picture at the end? I mean, you can. You could technically screenshot it if you wanted to. I don't know why you'd want to screenshot this ugly thing. I did. Chat with you soon. Gotta get grandkids to school. Hell yeah. Well, enjoy your trip and be safe, Shazzy. Enjoy your trip. Get them kids to school. Get them educated. Stipa spent years studying the idea mathematically while working in the engineering division of the Italian Ministry of Air Force, eventually determining that venturi tube inner surface needed to be shaped like an airfoil in order to achieve the greatest efficiency. He also determined that the optimum shape of the propeller, the most efficient distance between the leading edge of the tube and the propeller, and the best rate of revolution of the propeller. Finally, he petitioned the Italian fascist government to produce the prototype aircraft. The government, seeking to showcase Italian technological achievement, particularly in aviation, contracted Caproni Company to construct the aircraft in 1932. I mean, partial L, Italians. Why would you want to showcase this ugly thing? What are you showcasing here? Look at this fat whale we put in the sky? Like, what the hell? Saying it looks like Double Ride at Disneyland? Not even kidding. Not even kidding. Thing so small it could probably be fueled by farts. I couldn't doubt that. I wouldn't say that you were wrong, Jeremy. They should have stuck with pasta. No kidding. You know, it's kind of funny. They would basically just enlarge a noodle and put wings on it, wouldn't they? Wouldn't they just go with the noodle? Oh, man. It's terrible. Terrible. The resultant aircraft was a mid-wing monoplane, mostly of wooden construction, dubbed the Stupa Caproni, or the Caproni Stipa. The fuselage was a barrel-like tube, short and fat, open at both ends to form a tapered duct with twin cockpits and tandem mounted, and a hump on top of it. Evidently, that's exactly what it looks like. They thought they were going to make extra money fast, seriously. Ha! The wings were elliptical and passed through the duct and the engine nacelle inside it. The duct itself had a profile similar to that of the airfoils, and fairly small rudder and elevators were mounted on the trailing edge of the duct, allowing the ducted propeller to flow directly over them as it exited the fuselage to improve handling. The propeller was mounted inside the fuselage too. One thing to note, the very first model, the tail and the elevator were too small, and the pilots almost couldn't stop going straight. They had to fight with this aircraft to get it to turn. Sometimes you can create something that's a little bit too efficient that defeats the purpose of the thing that you've created. Right? Jokes aside, this is like one engine under a modern day plane with wings. Yeah. I mean, basically, when it comes down to it, the guy actually did what he intended to do, set out to design the most efficient airfoil. Thing is, it was too efficient. The propeller was mounted inside the fuselage tube, flush with the leading edge of the fuselage, and the 120 horsepower de Havilland Gypsy 3 engine that powered it was mounted within the duct behind it at the midpoint of the fuselage. The aircraft had low, fixed, spatted main landing gear and a tail wheel. It was painted in a blue and cream scheme of the type used on racing aircraft of the day, and its rudder bore the colors of the Italian flag. Racing aircraft. Yeah, that thing's gonna go places. Ha ha! The El Chalupa. Serious. Do a barrel roll. Oh, no way, dude. Oh, that's probably the most underrated thing. Holy shit, do a barrel roll. No, that's fucking awesome. Ha ha. Ah, W Bang Bang Lulu. That's amazing. Shit. The Stipa Caproni first flew on the 7th of October 1932 with the Caproni Company test pilot Domenico Antonini at the controls. Initial testing showed that the in-tubed propeller design did increase the engine's efficiency as the Stipa had calculated. And the additional lift provided by the airfoil shape of the interior of the duct itself allowed a very low landing speed of only 68 kilometers an hour. 42 miles an hour for those of you that don't know the calculation or conversion, and assisted in Stipa Caproni in achieving a higher rate of climb than other aircraft with similar power and wing loading. The placement of the rudder and elevators and the exhaust from the propeller wash at the trailing edge of the tube gave the aircraft handling characteristics that made it very stable in flight, although they were later enlarged to further improve the plane's handling characteristics. Because it was too fucking stable. You think this thing's designer watched a few too many Japanimes? Man, were there any Japanimes in the 30s? I don't think so. I don't think there was. It might have been. It might have been some kind of manga. I wouldn't call it I don't think they were animating anything, but there's probably manga. As far as Japan's concerned, we obviously had cartoons. I mean, maybe they did. Maybe they did have anime. I don't know. I don't know anything about that. Anything about anime pre-like 90s. The Steeper Caproni proved to be noticeably quieter than conventional aircraft at the time. Unfortunately, the in-tube propeller design also induced so much aerodynamic drag that the benefits in the engine efficiency were canceled out, and the aircraft's top speed proved to be only 131 kilometers per hour. It's like 81 miles an hour. 81. When Caproni had completed initial testing, the Regia Aeronautica took control of the plane and transferred it to the Guidonia Monticello for a brief series of further test flights. All test pilots reported the plane was extremely stable in flight, to the point where it was difficult to change course. Test pilots were also astounded by the very low landing speed and the consequent very short landing run. As the plane did not perform noticeably better than conventional aircraft designs, the Regia Aeronautica decided to cancel further development. No further prototypes were built. Insanity. That this thing was even a fucking thing. Like, I mean, kudos to the designer for nailing it on efficiency as far as, like, stability. But also Major L for making it too fucking stable. Let's see. What do we got? They should have named it El Chalupa. They were watching disposable meat way too much. Efficient. So basically, if you type in invisible flying hand, this would be the picture showing up with the pilot holding a cake, basically. Pretty knowledgeable about... you pretty knowledgeable about planes generally. Yes, I am. Dude, planes have been a passion of mine since I was a kid. Holy shit, like young, buddy. Instead of having like G.I. Joes and shit, I always had little model planes. Used to make them like fight each other and fly them around the house and shit. It was cool. Despicable Me. Yeah, I knew what you meant, but Disposable Me is way funnier. You should have just left it. I'd be embarrassed to crash in it, rather jump out, right? I think it's things designer watched a few too many Japanimes. There's something you see at Legoland. Maybe. Japanimes. In my day, they were called hentai. Oh, shit. It looked like a blow dryer. Yes, it do. We had funny pages that had something to do with it. Steamboat Willie. I need to put in his nose. Regalia. Jeremy. Seems like it was pretty adequately named, right? That's Will. Insanity is better than out of sanity, right? It's like a Pinewood Derby car on a trash can, right? Looks like a submarine and a plane hybrid. It kinda does. You even have the Wright brothers' voice? Do I really? I've never heard what they sound like. I honestly have never heard what the Wright brothers sound like. I didn't even know you could hear what the Wright brothers... I mean, I guess I've never really thought about it. I'm sure they've been on radio or TV at some point. Right? Maybe. I don't know. I've been told that I sound not white, even though I'm white as all can be. I'm Scandinavian. Like, shit. Anyways, this is the next one we're talking about. The shopping cart. The shopping cart hang glider. The motorized shopping cart hang glider. The Ryan XV8. We all know about Ryanair. And their fucking infamous pilots. Bunch of trash cans. Shit, man. You knew them personally? Really? Thought they were like 1920s. He's parkour white? Yeah, I'm like super parkour white. You have to go, but love this stream. Much love from Norway. Well, you have a wonderful day. Enjoy yourself. and I appreciate you stopping by. This one's at least better than the last one. You're not wrong, because NASA actually took this one over. NASA was like, we might be able to do something with this. Flexible wing design. We likey. Everything that can be built cheap, we like it over at NASA. The fucking hang glider fell on someone's derby car? No kidding, but look at these wheels. Like, these are shopping cart wheels. What is this? These are fucking shopping cart wheels. You find these at Walmart. NASA took it to space. I could imagine. That would be actually kind of funny. It'd be pretty useless unless it was like a solar sail. If I was ever going to strap a bathtub to a kite, call it a plane, this is pretty much how I'd imagine I'd do it. Exactly. Dan, thank you for the subscribe. I appreciate you. The Ryan XV-8 flexible wing aerial utility vehicle. Hold on, wait for it. Nicknamed the Fleep, short for Flying Jeep. Really, Ryanair? Come on. Was an improved version of the Flex Wing. Both aircraft were built by Ryan Aeronautical Company in collaboration with NASA for the United States Air Force and the United States Army. Tested in 1961 as a short takeoff and landing patrol, reconnaissance, and light utility aircraft to transport people or freight when a more specialized aircraft is not required or available. As we all know, this thing was made completely and utterly obsolete by helicopters. First off. Second off. Army. Like, military defense. What are you doing? You're gonna fly a hang gliding cart with no armor into a war zone to deliver troops and supply. What are you delivering? Groceries? This is like Uber Eats for like the soldiers? Come on now. Looks like the engineers got drunk and still built the prototype the next morning, right? Should have named it the Carp. Basically, it's crap, but they typoed the spelling. Did it ever actually fly? Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Unfortunately, I did not have enough time today to pull any video content of it flying. Otherwise, I would have had video content of both of them that actually flew really well. But we'll get into that for a second. The Fleep began as the Flex Wing. The Flex Wing had four-wheel landing gear, a smaller nose section behind which the pilot sat in a single vertical tail rudder. The Fleep had a tricycle landing gear, a larger nose, and a V-tail rudder. So there's two versions of this, right? The second version has a V-tail rudder that's basically the same shape, but it's just, instead of having this one rudder up in the back, it had two coming out to the side. That's it. It's the only real difference. The landing gear was changed to a tri-landing gear instead of this weird truss shit, too. So it was an actual landing gear, the second model, right? And that's part of the reason that it was able to fly. And because NASA took over it, they made a shit ton of other modifications just to test how the variable wing responds in certain, scenarios. Feeding Army soldiers one lunchbox delivery at a time. Wonder if it's push to start? Shit. I mean, in a good enough headwind, you could probably take off in that thing. For anybody who's ever, this is kind of where they got the concept for a hang glider. Kinda. Believe it or not, this was actually before hang gliders. Were mass-produced in the way that they're mass-produced now. The modern design of hang gliders. This is not before hang gliders were invented. Hang gliders were invented before planes. Ha! Just get that straight real quick. It was tested with two tail configurations, vertical fin, V-tail. The aircraft wing could be folded into relatively small package for transport. Yeah, and it was also a piece of shit. Like, the fact that NASA took this thing over and did a bunch of studies with it, they basically changed the whole design too. So they added another, like, more supports going down this way diagonally from the front, because obviously when the wind blows, this thing goes flying all over the fucking place. It's a variable wing design. It's flexible. It is subject to its environment. A major reason why the Army didn't continue the contract, or the Air Force. Wildly insane. Wildly insane that was even a thing. But there is one more that I didn't get a picture for, called the Spruce Goose, right? It's the biggest wooden plane ever made, and it only flew one time, and it flew in defiance of the FAA. They told them not to fly it, and he was like, fuck you, I'm gonna fly it. And he flew it down the coast of California, because it was a boat plane, right? And the guy that did this was Howard Robert Hughes Jr. NASA bought it and added the CGI blue screen to do it. I'm telling you. They flew that shit with the green screen. They just put it in a giant pool. Howard Hughes Jr. December 24th, 1905 to April 5th, 1976 was an American aerospace engineer, business magnate, film producer, investor, philanthropist, and pilot. I'm going to read all of that again. An American aerospace engineer, business magnate, film producer, investor, philanthropist, and pilot. I do believe he was an actor, too. Not just a producer, but he, acted in films. Biggest fear, collision with birds piercing the kite material. Not only that, but a big enough gust of wind to probably tear that shit. Not gonna lie. Or a wind shear. That would actually be my biggest fear, Jeremy, would be a wind shear. Sudden drop in fucking... in that thing, you're just nose down, gone. Sorry. There's no elevons to recover out of it. Once you go nose down in a hang glider, he goes nose down in a fucking hang glider. I've watched this happen multiple times at Torrey Pines State Park in California. There's a hang gliding thing right there off the cliffs. And a bunch of people parachute because the wind coming off the ocean, rushing up the side of the cliffs, creates a perpetual current that you can just sit there and float on all day if you want to. So there's a whole rental center where you can go and rent parachutes and hang gliders and shit. And many times have I seen these guys go down, just straight down to the beach, bye. Oops, missed that air current. That sucks. Wasn't ready for it, and it's just instantly. There's no recovering because you're just, oh shit, what do I do now? And then you're all of a sudden on the ground. I was gonna say, I don't know if I could fly on that without a parachute or something. No kidding. You would not catch me anywhere near that thing without a parachute. But if you look, if we zoom in and I can move this, right? If you look very carefully, because the picture's all pixelated and shit, you can see he's wearing a parachute. This guy was not stupid either. This guy was like, yeah, we're not going up there in this thing. He could fall out the sides. Just... What? What? Kind of crap is this? Anyways, back to Howard Hughes. He was the best known during his lifetime as one of the richest and most influential people in the world. First became prominent as a film producer, and then as an important figure in the aviation industry. Later in life, he became known for his eccentric behavior and reclusive lifestyle, oddities that were caused in part by his worsening obsessive-compulsive disorder, chronic pain from near-fatal plane crash, and increasing deafness. That'll do it. I tell you, that'll fucking do it. Dude, he's got my red lunchbox. I'm telling you, that's actually his helmet. That's hilarious, but that's actually his helmet. Is that thing piloted by Woody from Toy Story? You know, kind of looks like it, doesn't it? Kind of fucking looks like it, doesn't it? Oh, man. As a film tycoon, Hughes gained fame in Hollywood beginning in the late 1920s when he produced big-budget and often controversial films such as The Racket, Hell's Angels, 1930, and Scarface, 1932. Yeah. Dude that designed Scarface that produced Scarface in 1932 also designed and flew the world's biggest wooden boat plane in history. What a wild concept. Just goes to show that if you have a dream or some kind of passion or something you want to do in life, the only thing that's really stopping you is you, right? You'll find some way to do it. You'll figure it out somehow. While I'm talking about Hughes, I'm going to pull something else up. Hold on, give me 1 second. Nailed it. All right. Perfect. Not even gonna lie, I'm particularly entertained by the airplane history, but having a blast roasting these things, I'm telling you, man. Shit. This is what trillions of tax dollars went to and went into Area 51 for? Bro, not even kidding, man. That's hilarious. You cleaned the garage. Did I? Did I clean the garage? Because this isn't necessarily a garage. This is actually a smaller building. It's like how do I describe it? I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. It's just a small building. It's not really a house. It's not really a not house. But it's a small building on my property. And I have several of them. As well as, a house and a greenhouse and fucking all kinds of other shit too. But I converted one of the small buildings into a studio. That's where this came from. And then got a couple of good ideas from some people in the chat to kind of make it like a bunker feel because I talk about war a lot. It's my other series, Battle Tactics and War Strategies with a Ninja. It's like a comedic, interactive documentary where the chat gets to make their input too. We have good times over there. Good fucking times over there, I tell you what. Talking about war crimes. Shit. It's a shed, basically. I mean, kinda. It's a little bit bigger than a shed. It's like half a double-wide trailer. Right? It's just fucking pretty big. It's not a small building. It goes way back. I just moved this shelf right up back against me. If I open it up, it fucking goes, but like the camera doesn't even catch the back wall. Gotta have a lint roller? Yeah, of course I gotta have a lint roller. I have 3 dogs and 2 cats. I have 2 goats and I have 5 chickens. Yes, I absolutely have to have a lint roller. Holy shit. Yeah, roast the shit out of me, man. That's fucking funny. No, I know I need a better setup. I need a better camera. Probably need better lighting, but I kind of like the red light, especially if I'm going to do a bunker feel and get one of them big box CB radios and put it like right here. And then hook the mic up from the CB radio to my computer so that it sounds appropriate. Something like that. They make some pretty flippin' big sheds. I could imagine they do. But for now, I just have my swords and my straw hat. See, I could have joined easy. I could have very easily joined easy on the last VK. Ha! You have 3 cats and a dog? Lint roller stays with me wherever I go. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. What kind of dog do you have? I have a Shar-Pei bloodhound, a Malamute, and a Doberman. I don't know what the fucking cats are. I couldn't tell you what the hell the cats are. Anyways, I'm going to read a little bit more, but I am going to grace you guys with some fucking cool shit. Some cool shit instead of shitty fucking turd biscuits that ended up benefiting the aerospace community in whatever odd fucking way. I'm going to loop the intro video, but it's going to be silent, though. It's going to be silent. It's also the outro video. You don't have any pets, but your GF is a bit of a cougar? Well, look at that Bang Bang Lulu. 2 of your dogs are huskies? Yeah, buddy. American Bulldog, medium hair, that's what's up. The other way around, 3 dogs and a cat? Yeah, I know what your dogs look like, Jeremy. Pull them on camera. Lucky, my dogs won't go on camera. They fucking shy away from that shit. They're like, you're trying to steal my soul! No! Get away from me, you fuck! I'm like, get over here, you little bastard. Like, trying to get a video. And they're like, no! It's fucked up. It's fucked up. They literally run from, like, being filmed. I have to sneak pictures of my dogs. Chase made you do it? Yeah. He later acquired the RKO Pictures Film Studio in 1948, recognized then as one of the big 5 studios of Hollywood's golden age. Although the production company struggled under his control and ultimately ceased operations in 1957 because he was terrible with money. Through his interest in aviation and aerospace travel, Hughes formed the Hughes Aircraft Company in 1932, hiring numerous engineers, designers, and defense contractors. Spent the rest of the 1930s and much of the 1940s setting multiple world airspeed records and building the Hughes H-1 Racer, 1935, and the gigantic H-4 Hercules, the Spruce Goose, in 1947. The largest flying boat in history with the longest wingspan of any aircraft from the time. It was built until 2019. Dang. Let's go. Tomcats are awesome, but Raptor rocks them. Yep. The Raptor rocks everything. You'd be 60 miles away. It's like, sorry. Got a target lock on. You didn't even know I existed. Some of the missile technology we have is wild. Just wild. He acquired and expanded Transworld Airlines. Transworld Airlines. Disgusting. Ugh. Look, don't fly on that airline. Oh. And later acquired Air West, renaming it Hughes Air West. Hughes won the Harmon Trophy on 2 occasions, 1936 and 1938. The Collier Trophy, 1938, and the Congressional Gold Medal, 1939. All for his achievements in aviation throughout the 1930s. He was inducted into the National Aviation Hall of Fame in 1973 and was included in Flying Magazine's 2013 list of 51 heroes of aviation, ranked at number 25. During his final years, Hughes extended his financial empire to include several major businesses in Las Vegas, such as real estate, hotels, casinos, media outlets. Holy shit! Known at the time as one of the most powerful men in the state of Nevada, he is largely credited with transforming Las Vegas into a more refined cosmopolitan city. After years of mental and physical decline, Hughes died of kidney failure in 1976. His legacy is maintained through the Howard Hughes Medical Institute and Howard Hughes Holdings, Incorporated. Dude was crazy, but we needed him? Didn't he also buy an airline? Yeah. Yes, he did. We did need him. Howard Hughes, like, for what it's worth, the dude catches a lot of shit. Like, Howard Hughes, there's a lot of critics that like to shit on the guy. And it's like, yeah, but even though what he did, a lot of what he did, especially later in his life and later in his career, was kind of wild, dude was still setting fucking records. And like we just went over, I mean, it took until 2019 for anyone on the planet to build a plane with a longer wingspan than his wooden boat plane. Wild. Hughes is one of, like, my favorite examples of people who just do what the fuck they want to do, right? Even when they're limited. Because we can go over Hughes' life. And it's not like he didn't have setback. You know what I mean? After setback. There were multiple setbacks this man had. Overcame every last one of them because it wasn't going to stop him in his goals. We definitely needed Hughes, if only to inspire other men to be like him, or at least look up to him in some kind of way, right? I think that's where a lot of young men nowadays stray. They don't know who to look up to. A lot of public figures out there that have completely lost their fucking minds. You almost have to look for them. Well, not anymore. I'm bringing them to you. Bringing them to... He's an OG Elon, literally. Dude was crazy. Yeah. Have you seen the cluster-guided missiles? The bomblets are mini missiles that can have separate targets, even tracking using GPS targeting, click, follow, track, or laser guides. Yeah. Yeah, dude, some of the shit we have nowadays is just... mind-boggling. And that's part of the reason I said... So I have this short, right, that I kind of got made fun of by one of my Facebook followers that actually came over from Facebook, because I used to stream on Facebook. But that aside, right, one of my fucking Facebook followers a couple weeks back sent me a message in Facebook Messenger. I was like, dude, really? You realize that short makes no sense, right? It's like trying to get me to delete it. And I was like, no, it makes perfect sense. You just have to listen to it. Basically, what I said was, our shit is the best shit, right? And the shit that we use, I didn't say it exactly like this because I'm going to make it a little bit more understandable for the chat this time. The shit that we currently use, right, in aerial warfare is outdated by the shit we don't use in aerial warfare. In any type of warfare, to be completely honest with you, but we're going to specifically focus on aerial warfare because this is aviation prattle. Talking about planes. There's nothing on the planet that could beat anything. Like any of our new shit. Nothing on the planet. So I feel safe here as an American. Why? Because I know that there's F-22s that can eliminate any kind of real threat, like a, bomber carrying fucking nukes or whatever the hell you want to try and throw at us that's not an ICBM of some kind or a hypersonic missile of some kind, because yeah, we have those too. Hypersonic technology basically makes everything aviation-wise obsolete, but we're not going to get into that on this stream, okay? And that's part of the reason, part of what I'm getting at is, our best shit makes our current shit that we use completely obsolete, even though we don't use our best shit. And we won't use our best shit until we absolutely have to use our best shit. Until it's absolutely necessary. We have to use the stockpiles or they'll just rot. So yeah, exactly. Cleaner's not wrong. I mean, we spent the money on them. Might as well get the use out of them, right? Fuck. Ha! Shit. Can't let them sit there and turn to rust. I mean, that's what the Russians did. We can get into that for a second. They left a fucking one of their SU, I do believe it was shit, it was some Sukhoi they left on a fucking landing strip of some runway at some airport that they do air shows at, right? They just left it there to rot for years and didn't remodel it until like a couple of years ago. They remodeled it and put it in an air museum in Russia somewhere. But I'm like, dang, guys, come on. I know your shit doesn't work, but to just make it obvious and leave it there to rot, that's not serving you any good. Yep, I don't think that we have anything to worry about as far as a military threat. I think if we were to worry about anything in this country, it should be all the focus on internally. That's where the real destruction will come from. Can already see it, but again, not the stream for that, right? Ha! We can get into that on another stream. Like battle tactics and war strategies, because there's all kinds of different war strategies that go into internal propaganda and subjugating a nation through all kinds of random amalgamations of false information. Stupid nonsense, division, etc., etc., etc. And once you start to be able to recognize it, well, you become immune to it. It's part of the reason I started that. So that people can waft through the amalgam of bullshit that is force-fed to them every single day. And maybe find some real truth out there in the world. Encourage them to think for themselves and show them that research can be done. Hell, anything can be done if you put your mind to it. Howard Hughes, for example, was the only child of Aline Stone Gano and of Howard R. Hughes Sr. 1869 to 1924 is when his dad was alive. His dad was alive during the Dust Bowl, I do believe. Some rough shit. Rough shit in American history. If you don't know what the Dust Bowl is, look it up. Saving my question for that stream? Yeah, buddy. Oh, you'll be there that night? Shit, well, I mean, any night that I'm doing battle tactics and war strategies, you can ask me anything about propaganda or, internal war affairs, where I think the country's going, like all that shit. That's related. That's totally related to the topic. I'm willing to go into all of that shit on that stream. No problems. Which, there'll be another one tomorrow night at 12:30. We're going to be starting the War of Actrium between Octavius, Mark Antony, and Cleopatra. Now, I know everybody likes talking about Rome, so I'm sure we'll all enjoy that one. A successful inventor and businessman from Missouri. He had an English, Welsh, and some French Huguenot ancestry, and was a descendant of John Gano, the minister who allegedly baptized George Washington. Really? Well, shit, this guy was destined for greatness, wasn't he? Through John Gano's sister Susanna, Hughes was the fifth cousin once removed of the Wright brothers, Orville and Wilbur, who invented the first successful airplane. Dude, what the hell? This guy's related to everybody. The hell? We're gonna have a long convo on that one? Dude, I'm willing to talk about war for fucking 9 hours, if that's what it turns into. I'm fascinated by the topic. Completely fascinated. just blows my mind. Some of the wild shit human beings are willing to do to one another blows my fucking mind. Like, for instance, I'll give an example. Last night, we were talking about the Roman Civil War with Caesar versus Pompey. And there's a point where Caesar has to go put down a rebellion because they're chopping off everybody's fucking little buddies. They're castrating everybody. That's Roman, right? They're like, oh, you're a Roman? Fucking, we're gonna castrate you. Caesar's like, yeah, fuck that. Like, war crime. You don't snip the buddies. You don't fucking snip the buddies. But, like, literally, who the fuck does that? Like, why? Oh my god. I mean, I get why. I'm not asking that, like, literally why. You know, I understand it. But still, holy shit. It's just wild to me. And so shit like that fascinates me. I don't know. Agreed. Good genetics. Yeah, seriously, this guy's freaking way good genetics. Hughes Sr. patented the two-cone roller bit in 1909, which allowed rotary drilling for petroleum in previously inaccessible places. Evidently his dad was a legend too. Let's go. The Senior Hughes made the shrewd and lucrative decision to commercialize the invention by leading the bits instead of selling them. Or leasing the bits instead of selling them. Shit, the legend. Dude was a business tycoon, obtaining several early patents and founding the Hughes Tool Company in 1909. Hughes' uncle was the famed novelist, screenwriter, and film director Rupert Hughes. Jesus, this guy's family, though. Holy shit. A 1941 affidavit birth certificate of Hughes signed by his auntie Annette Gano Loomis and by Estelle Bogdan Sharp states that he was born on December 24th, 1905 in Harris County, Texas. However, his certificate of baptism, recorded on October 7th, 1906 in the parish register of St. John's Episcopal Church in Keokuk, Iowa, listed his date of birth as September 24th, 1905, without any reference to the place of birth. Interesting. Carthage. Yeah. I mean, well, see, that's the thing. After we finish the War of Actrium, I'm going to need chat to go ahead and suggest me another war to go over, because that's how we do things on Battle Tactics and War Strategies. The chat gets to decide what happens next. I've read about most of them already, so, you know, like, whatever you guys want to hear about, let's go. I'm down. I always end up learning something new that I didn't learn, or that I didn't know before, and then chat always has opinions that I've never heard of before, and so, and or fucking facts. Like, lead me to some other piece of information that I was completely oblivious to. And then, guess what? That benefits every single human being that watches it afterwards, because the information is, 1, more detailed, and 2, more accurate. I don't think ever before has there really been an informative docuseries that was interactive to the point where people could add their own bits of information, right? And obviously, if it sounds like bullshit, I'm gonna check it. But if you're being genuine and you have a genuine knowledge about the subject or about a specific war time period in history, then by all means, please give your input, because I would love to provide, like, the most accurate and detailed content I possibly can about any given particular subject we're talking about, right? Hannibal at the gates. Yeah, buddy. At a young age, Hughes Jr. showed interest in science and technology. Particularly, he had a great engineering aptitude and built Houston's first wireless radio transmitter at age 11. Well, he went on to be one of the first licensed ham radio operators in Houston, having the assigned call sign W5CY, originally 5CY. At 12, Hughes was photographed for the local newspaper, which identified him as the first boy in Houston to have a motorized bicycle which he had built from parts of his father's steam engine. The legend! He was an indifferent student with a liking for mathematics, flying, and mechanics. He took his first flying lesson at 14 and attended the Fessenden School in Massachusetts in 1921. Love damn thumb. Yep. I tell you. Listen, because I use swipe on my phone, there are many times where my chats just come in all fucked up. And I either have to recorrect it or remove it and just retype it entirely. Because every time I leave it thinking that people will figure out what I'm trying to say, no one ever gets it, and then I get roasted. Not that I don't welcome the roasts. I mean, I fucking roast myself, but still. After a brief stint at the Thatcher School, all right, Hughes attended math and aeronautical engineering courses at Caltech. The red brick house where Hughes lived as a teenager at 3921 Yoakum Boulevard, Houston, still stands now. Known as the Hughes House on the grounds of University of St. Thomas. Legendary. The pain of chatting on your phone, I'm telling you. His mother, Aline, died in March 1922 from complications of ectopic pregnancy. Howard Hughes Sr. died of a heart attack in 1924. Their deaths apparently inspired Hughes to include the establishment of a medical research laboratory in the will that he signed in 1925 at age 19. Howard Sr.'s will had not been updated since Aline's death, and Hughes Jr. inherited 75% of the family fortune. On his 19th birthday, Hughes was declared an emancipated minor, enabling him to take full control of his life. At 19, he was declared an emancipated minor. Just throwing that out there. Different times in 1925. Different times. From a young age, Hughes became a proficient, enthusiastic golfer. He often scored near par figures, playing the game to a 2-3 handicap during his 20s. And for a time, he aimed for a professional golf career. He golfed frequently with top players, including Gene Sarazen. Hughes rarely played competitively and gradually gave up his passion for the sport to pursue other interests like aviation. Hughes played golf every afternoon at LA courses, including Lakeside Golf Club, Wilshire Country Club, and the Bel Air Country Club. Well, he's hanging out with fucking Fresh Prince, Will Smith, and, damn it, what was it, DJ Jazzy Jeff? Partners included George Von Elm or Ozzy Carlton. Oh, yeah, there it is, Carlton. After Hughes hurt himself in the late 1920s, his golfing tapered off. And after his XF-11 crash, Hughes was unable to play at all. Hughes withdrew from Rice University shortly after his father's death. On June 1st, 1925, he married Ella Botts Rice, daughter of David Rice and Martha Lawson Botts of Houston, and great-niece of William Marsh Rice, for whom Rice University was named. They moved to Los Angeles, where he hoped to make a name for himself as a filmmaker. They moved into the Ambassador Hotel, and Hughes proceeded to learn to fly a Waco, while simultaneously producing his first motion picture, Swell Hogan. Fucking wild. Dude was learning how to fly a plane and filming his first movie at the same time. The champion. It can be done, people, I promise. It can be done. If you want to do something, do it. Holy crap, only missing Lou for the trifectas of Fresh Prince mentions. Literally. Not even kidding. Ralph Graves persuaded Hughes to finance a short film, Swell Hogan, which Graves had written and would star in. Hughes himself produced it. When he screened it, he thought it was a disaster. After hiring a film editor to try and salvage it, he finally ordered that it be destroyed. His next two films, Everybody's Acting, 1926, and Two Arabian Nights, 1927, achieved financial success. The latter won the first Academy Award for Best Director of a Comedy Picture. The Racket, 1928, and The Front Page, 1931, were also nominated for Academy Awards. Hughes spent $3.5 million to make the flying film Hell's Angels in the 1930s. Hell's Angels received one Academy Award nomination for Best Cinematography. He produced another hit, Scarface, in 1932, a production delayed by censors' concern over its violence. Gotta love closed captioning. Ha! Gotta sleep. I'll catch you tomorrow night for the war chat. Stay safe. Hell yeah. Have a good night, Cleaner. Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate you, man. You're awesome. Legend. The Outlaw premiered in 1943 but was not released nationally until 1946. The film featured Jane Russell, who received considerable attention from industry censors, this time owing to her revealing costumes. From the 1940s to the late 1950s, the Hughes Tool Company ventured into the film industry when it obtained partial ownership of the RKO companies, which included RKO Pictures, RKO Studios, a chain of movie theaters known as RKO Theaters, and a network of radio stations known as the RK Radio Network. In 1948, Hughes gained control of RKO, a struggling major Hollywood studio, by acquiring the 929,000 shares owned by Floyd Oldham's Atlas Corporation for $8,825,000. Which would be $107,165,160 in 2023. Within weeks of acquiring the studio, Hughes dismissed 700 employees. Production dwindled to 9 pictures during the first year of Hughes' control. Previously, RKO had averaged 30 per year. The dude created new filming practices. He was amazing. Yeah, literally. I'm not kidding. This guy was a pioneer in several different industries. Like, I know, like I said earlier, I don't understand why people give him shit for some of the crazier stuff he did later on in life. Who cares? Who fucking cares? The dude was a legend. Same year, 1948, he was able to arrange his previous films with United Artists, The Outlaw, Mad Wednesday, and Vendetta. I've seen Vendetta. To be transferred to RKO in exchange for the 3 completed being removed from UA distribution. Hughes and James and Theodore Nasser of the General Service Studios would provide the financing of 3 independent films for distribution by UA. In terms of negotiations directly with RKO, the company agreed to remove the production of the film Jet Pilot from David O. Selznick to Hughes. Hughes produced the film during the years 1949 and 1950 and owned RKO and in turn the distribution for the film. However, the film was not released until 1957 by Universal Pictures due to, in part, to the subsequent events that would take place at RKO distribution and largely due to the extra aerial film footage that had been filmed over the years after the film's 1950 completion. Hughes was undertaking a final edit before the 1957 release. After his acquisition of RKO, Hughes shut down production at the studio for 6 months, during the time which he ordered investigations into political leanings of every remaining RKO employee. Oh shit! Oh shit! He went in on their political leanings, huh? Only after ensuring that the stars under contract to RKO had no suspect affiliations would Hughes approve completed pictures to be sent back for reshooting. This was especially true of the women under contract to RKO at the time. If Hughes felt that his stars did not properly represent the political views of his liking, or if a film's anti-communist politics were not sufficiently clear, he pulled the plug. The fucking legend, let's go! In 1952, in a board of sale to Chicago-based 5-man syndicate, two of whom had a history of complaints about their business practices and none of any experience in the movie industry. Disrupted studio operations at RKO even further. Bastards. In 1953, Hughes became involved with a high-profile lawsuit as part of a settlement of the United States versus Paramount Pictures, Inc. antitrust case. As a result of hearings, the shaky status of RKO became increasingly apparent. A steady stream of lawsuits from RKO's minority shareholders had grown to become extremely annoying to Hughes. They had accused him of financial misconduct and corporate mismanagement. Yeah, there's that bullshit propaganda. Since Hughes wanted to focus primarily on his aircraft manufacturing and the TWA holdings during the years of the Korean War of 1950 to 1953, Hughes offered to buy out all other RKO stockholders in order to dispense with their distractions. By the end of 1954, Hughes had gained near total control of RKO at a cost of nearly $24 million, becoming the first sole owner of major Hollywood studio since the silent film era. 6 months later, Hughes sold the studio to General Tire and Rubber Company for $25 million. Hughes retained the rights to pictures that he had personally produced, increasing those made at RKO. He also retained Jane Russell's contract. For Howard Hughes, this was the virtual end of his 25-year involvement in the motion picture industry. However, his reputation as a financial wizard emerged unscathed. During that time period, RKO became known as home of the classic film noir productions, thanks in part to the limited budgets required to make such films during Hughes' tenure. Hughes reportedly walked away from RKO having made $6.5 million in personal profit, according to Noah Dietrich. Hughes made $10 million in profit from the sale of the theaters and made a profit of $1 million from a 7-year ownership of RKO. Dang. Dude was just balling. According to Noah Dietrich, land became a principal asset for Hughes' empire. Hughes acquired 1,200 acres in Culver City for Hughes Aircraft and bought 7 sections, 4,480 acres, in Tucson for his Falcon missile plant, and purchased 25,000 acres near Las Vegas in 1968. The Hughes Tool Company purchased a North Las Vegas air terminal. Originally known as Summa Corporation, the Howard Hughes Corporation formed in 1972, when the oil tools business of Hughes Tools Company, then owned by Howard Hughes Jr., floated on the New York Stock Exchange under the Hughes Tools name. This forced the remaining business of the original Hughes Tool to adopt a new corporate name, Summa. The name Summa, Latin for highest, was adopted without the approval of Hughes himself, who preferred to keep his own name on the business, suggested HRH Properties for Hughes Resorts and Hotels, and also his own initials. The legend. In 1988, Summa announced plans for Summerlin, a master-planned community named for the parental grandmother of Howard Hughes, Jean Amelia Summerlin. Initially staying in the Desert Inn, Hughes refused to vacate his room and instead decided to purchase the entire hotel. What? Hughes extended his financial empire to include Las Vegas real estate, hotels, media outlets, and spending an estimated $300 million, using his considerable powers to acquire many of his well-known hotels, especially the venues connected with organized crime. He quickly became one of the most powerful men in Las Vegas. He was instrumental in changing the image of Las Vegas from its Wild West and later mafia organized crime roots into a more refined cosmopolitan city. In addition to Desert Inn, Hughes would eventually own Sands, Frontier, Silver Slipper, Castaways, and Landmark and Harold's Club in Reno. Dang. During his 4 years in Vegas, Hughes became the largest employer in Nevada. Holy shit. And now to the meat. stuff that the stream was intended for. Another portion of Hughes' commercial interests involve aviation, airlines, and aerospace defense industries. A lifelong aircraft enthusiast and pilot, Hughes survived 4 airplane accidents, one in the Thomas More Scout while filming Hell's Angels, one while setting the airspeed record in the Hughes Racer, one at Lake Mead in 1943, and a near-fatal crash of the Hughes XF-11 in 1946. At Rogers Airport in Los Angeles, he learned to fly from pioneer aviators, including Moy Stevens and J.B. Alexander. He set many world records and commissioned the construction of custom aircraft for himself while heading Hughes Aircraft at the airport in Glendale, California. Operating from there, the most technology-important aircraft he commissioned was the Hughes H-1 Racer on September 13, 1935. Hughes, flying the H-1, set the land plane airspeed record of 352 miles per hour over his test course near Santa Ana, California. Damn! This marked the last time in history that an aircraft built by a private industrial set the world airspeed record. A year and a half later after that it was all military, buddy. A year and a half later, on January 19, 1937, flying the same H-1 Racer fitted with long wings, Hughes set a new transcontinental airspeed record by flying non-stop from Los Angeles to Newark in 7 hours, 28 minutes, and 25 seconds, beating his own previous record of 9 hours and 27 minutes. His average ground speed over the flight was 322 miles an hour. Nice. The H-1 Racer featured a number of design innovations. It had retractable landing gears Boeing monomail had 5 years before, and all the rivets, joints set flush into the body of the aircraft reduced drag. The H-1 Racer is thought to have influenced the design of a number of World War II fighters such as the Mitsubishi A6M0, the Focke-Wulf FW-190, and the F-8F Bearcat, although that was never reliably confirmed. In 1975, the H-1 Racer was donated to the Smithsonian. This dude was an absolute legend. Like, I could go on about Howard Hughes for the next fucking 3 hours. Unfortunately, I have fucking work in the morning, and it's already 3:22. 22 minutes past the time I was planning on ending my stream. But I was blessed by a raid from Speakeasy. Shout out to him, the legend. And so I figured I would give y'all something entertaining, at least knowledgeable. And if nothing else, provide you with some kind of value. That's crazy. Thing is, when you look at the trajectory of flight from Wright Bros to space, it's crazy. Dude, I'm telling you, I've made that same comparison hundreds of times. Like, the amount of technology increasing, and this is part of why I started my new company. So, shameless plug. Shameless plug on my new company. Right? I'm not going to throw the name out there just yet. Not yet. Because my last name is a part of it. That's part of the reason why. So, the direction of general transportation, and I'm not talking about public transportation, because obviously there's already planes you can get on and fly halfway across the country or all the way across the country, shit around the world if you wanted to. Right? But for the general public, you can see the trend happening over time. And no matter what they do, they're never going to be able to fix it, especially in areas like Los Angeles that are subject to earthquakes. But rush hour in Los Angeles is hell. The traffic in Southern California alone, I don't even have to name a specific city. I'm sure if any of you live there, you know what I'm fucking talking about. I lived there half my life. It's never gonna get fixed. But there is a solution. The solution is having an aerial vehicle. Now, I'm sure a lot of people are gonna say, well, isn't that expensive? Well, yeah. If you buy one of the fucking electric ones that they try and sell you for damn near $100,000. But see, I'm not necessarily okay with that. I don't think that's accessible to everybody. And for me, I can build a kit plane. Wouldn't be my first time, right? A kit plane out of wood and whatever else for less than $15,000. And it'll last me as long as I take care of it, just like a car. Runs on normal gas. Land it at the gas station if I wanted to. Right? But in essence, you would want to make it more efficient. Obviously, not everybody can have a fucking runway in their driveway. So you just add the vertical takeoff and landing, machine the parts you need, design the aircraft, and build it. Per my designs, material costs, and everything that I have accumulated over the last fucking year's worth of putting just about every lasting free second I've had in the day to this, I have come up with a design that will cost less than $20,000 to make and wouldn't need to be charged more than $20,000 to buy. So for less than a new car, you could have yourself a plane. Vertical takeoff and landing. Just take off from your driveway, fly wherever the hell you want to go, because you have a 200 to 300 mile range, or more if you want, and go back home. Shit, you can land in your neighbor's backyard. You can land in your brother's backyard halfway across the state, if you wanted to. But technology's heading that way, and it's heading that way fast. Eventually, everybody's going to have some kind of vehicle where you can fly in, right? It's always been my dream to design airplanes and make fucking airplanes for people and bring flying to the world, right? Because if I'm not flying through the air doing parkour, I'm flying through the air in a plane. Seriously. And now that I have the ability to make it more accessible because of the way engine technology, propeller technology, etc., 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 like the use of hyper strength fucking materials they didn't have back in the 1920s, but they're ultra light but super high strength. You know what I mean? Like, sweet. I have access to all that shit now. I don't see why more people aren't doing this. Starting up, basically car companies, but for planes. So that's why I have this whole series in the first place. Part of it is because I just started this company, chat's going to go along that journey with me, regardless of how long it takes and what it takes to get it done. It's going to happen. Y'all are going to get to witness most of it. I'm obviously not going to dox myself, but there will be a lot of things you do get to see. Like, for instance, when I start building the prototype, you're going to get to see every step of that. That's going to be recorded either live or pre-recorded and then posted. So yeah, that should be fun. Moving forward, that's what's going to happen. Most of the reason I haven't started that yet is because my company, the new company, is located in Arizona, not in where I'm at now. And so that's where I need to move to at the end of the year to make this all happen, right? That's where we are. Let's go, Ninja. Thank you, Fredo. Let's see. The only jab to Hughes was the younger woman, but he was still an amazing man for sure. Yeah, indeed. Private air car travel only if AI driven. Nope. I would so much rather manually. Dude, like, I've seen too many videos of people getting, like, rear-ended in driven cars, they're sitting in the back seat, and then the AI just goes wild and takes off down the road full speed without fucking any regard, and then runs into a guardrail. And it's like, thank God it ran into a guardrail and not a concrete pillar. You know what I mean? Like, nah, AI's not ready for that kind of shit yet. I'm not ready for AI to be in control of that kind of shit yet. AI can assist me in the flight controls, kind of like it does. It's not really a full-blown AI, but like assisted flight controls in the F-117 Nighthawk. Because obviously that thing's one of the most unstable things flying in the sky. But there's a lot of things that like assist the pilot with being able to fly it. And I'm okay with that, but taking over entirely? Nah, not yet. Wait until that technology improves first. Once it's a little bit safer, then maybe I'll think about it. But right now I'm going for specifically safety, and that's why in my design I have probably 4 different redundant safety mechanisms. 2 that are just naturally built into the design of the plane, and 2 that are extra, like for instance a drag parachute. Oh shit, I'm starting to go down for whatever reason. Some shit happened, and I'm going down. Well, instead of crashing, just pull the drag chute. Now you're just floating. You'll be fine. Damien Wright. Yes, I am very right. Oh, that is the direction of travel. The future. The future is the Jetsons. And I will make it happen. It might not be all like the Jetsons, but it'll still happen. I get it, but in the same breath, you'll have to recognize people run into each other on their own. Yeah, well, unfortunately, if I'm not mistaken, the very 2 first cars in this country had an accident with each other. It's gotta happen. There's going to be growing pains with every situation. Every new situation, there's always going to be some kind of growing pains. I'm all for mitigating any of that pain in any way, shape, or form, right? But moving forward with new technology or any kind of new experience is going to have some kind of growing pains, right? Like, I'll use a huge example. When sailing technology got to a point where you could have worldwide trade, what happened? A lot of people got sick. A lot of people got sick. There's always going to be something, right? So if we can try our best to mitigate some of that, I think the overall outcome in the long term will be far more beneficial than anything we had to go through in the beginning to get there. LOL. I'm serious. I'm not even kidding. It's not a joke. It's actual, that's some based truth. Just throwing that out there. With any new thing, there's always going to be something that's personal or species-wide. Our entire species as a whole, right? Something changes that affects our entire species. There's going to be a little bit of pain in the beginning. Then the pain goes away and you move on, right? It's how human beings work. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. We would not have the will to push forward, regardless of the circumstances. That's all I'm really advocating for. As long as the benefit outweighs the risk. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. As long as the benefit outweighs the risk. And not slightly, right? It can't be like 50.000001% to 49.999999. You know what I mean? It can't be that. Obviously, that's so close, it's kind of like negating the efficiency, right? But like, if it's gonna benefit people or society or whatever you want to call it as a whole, in the long term, I would much rather go through the growing pains in the short term. Like, for instance, it's gonna suck real quick and real hard for a lot of women when they lose their right to vote. But I'm all for it. I'm not even kidding. How the hell we have a woman running for president is mind-blowing. A woman can't even finish a damn sentence. And when she does finish a sentence, she didn't really say anything. She just kind of threw out some words in a vocal vomit. And then tried to clean it up with some kind of dirty napkin. I don't know. I don't know what else to say about that lady. If she makes it as president, it should become blatantly obvious to everybody that there's some shit going on behind the scenes. If it's not already obvious enough as it is now. The low was for the first two cars. Yeah, I realized that as I was talking, right? I realized that as I was talking. But that's not just to, like, rebut back at you, though. You know what I mean? There's going to be people that watch this down the line that are, yeah, but, no butts, no coconuts. But I'm serious. I'm not even kidding. I think I could look it up. I think the first two cars got into an accident. Maybe not. Let me read this real quick. Detroit was not the only early automobile manufacturing hotspot. In fact, Ohio was also highly involved in the early automobile industry. Several automobile manufacturers were located in Ohio, like Winton Motor Car Company, White Motor Company, and Baker Motor Vehicle Company. The first gasoline automobile made in the United States, known as Buckeye Gasoline Buggy or Lambert Gasoline Buggy, was made in Ohio in 1891. However, the same year, the first gasoline-powered automobile accident would happen in Ohio City involving Buckeye Gasoline Buggy's creator, James William Lambert. Lambert was driving the first single-cylinder engine gasoline automobile with James Swoveland. The car hit a root of a tree, which caused the car to zigzag out of control and then smash into a hitching post where there were no major injuries. Okay, so that's the actual story. That's not the ad-libbed fucking joke shit. That's the actual story. So the first car was fucking actually just wrecked. Ha! Don't look it up, don't ruin it. Yeah, well, I ruined it. I fucking ruined it. I ruined it. There's an actual story there. And I found out what it was. The car hit it's still kind of dumb, and it still fits, you know what I mean? It still fits, right? Adding cars, people getting into wrecks. It's gonna happen. People still get into wrecks nowadays. Shit, bar all the safety regulations and needing a driver's license and all this other shit. Shit, people get into... It's safer to fly a plane. There's actually more room in the sky. There's far less opportunity to hit each other than being packed together on a 4-lane freeway with a bunch of other maniacs that aren't paying attention because they're on their phone watching TikTok. You're going full liberal on that truth. You heard nothing. Yeah. Let's go. That's awesome. Shit. Well, you guys, I have had an amazing night. It's been fucking awesome. You guys are legends. Speak easy. It's a fucking legend. Let's go. Thank you for the raid. My guy. Oh, also, shout outs to him. So, I didn't know how to tag, like put hashtags in my fucking videos, and everything I tried to look up and or fucking ask people, like people were giving me fucking mixed answers and all kinds of other shit. I asked a couple of people, they were like, whole YouTube life story. I'm like, that doesn't answer my question, you dick. What do I click? Like, where do I, do I just put it in the description? Because it's not giving me a place to put it. Little did I know there's a more options button, and I'm just ignorant. I am stupid as fuck. Literal artard to the max. So when my friend sent me a screenshot, after I'd already asked Speak to fucking help me out, and he was like, oh yeah, I can help you out whenever you're free. And I'm like, okay, cool, give me an hour and 15. I'll be done with work in an hour and 15, and then, you know, fucking you can give me the tutorial, the lowdown, whatever it is. Well, my friend sent me a screenshot in the interim, and I fucking look at the screenshot, and I'm like, oh my god. Wow, do I feel stupid now. Damn. Holy shit. For all that brain power, Damien, you sure know how to use it. Anyway, shout out to Speak for being willing to give me a fucking tutorial on how to do it. Like, I know he said earlier on his stream, he's like, I'm this nobody creator. Dude, you have 5,000 subs, you're monetized, you have way more, your channel is increasing way faster than mine is, right? Like, bro, you're not a nobody creator. And for you to put as much time as you do into your stream, to take time out of your day, to help me with mine, just goes to show, Speakeasy is actually a true legendary man. Just want to throw that out there. So shout outs to him, dude. Fucking awesome, I appreciate you. And then turns around and fucking raids me. Like, dude, holy shit. Glad you caught my stream, like, subbed, and notified? Hell yeah. Well, thank you, Michael, I appreciate that. But like, seriously, then he turns around and raids me. Like, real talk. This dude is fucking awesome. Glad I found his channel. Through Andrew Wilson raiding him one night. A long time ago. Like, 4 months now. Ish. But yeah, anyways, that being said, I'm going to hit you guys with the outro. And I'm going to head outro so I can go get 2 hours of sleep tro before I have to wake up and go feed my fucking chickens and goats. Go get some hay to fill up the goat house so that they don't freeze in the fucking winter. I have a lot of shit I got to take care of in the morning. So, I am going to leave you guys. But I hope you all have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night. Wherever you're at in the world, enjoy your time because it may be limited. Never know what could happen. However, my time with you tonight has come to an end. I appreciate every single one of you, and I will hopefully see you next time. Thank you. I'm out.